I dropped the mic, little tiny mic. Ooh, it's got cat hair on it. Great. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome to the program with the drop mic. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, boy. If you're new, welcome. We're going to start in just a minute, and we've got a lot to cover, guys. So hopefully I won't drop the mic again. Okay. Oh, 1 second, guys. Okay. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for joining. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for The Brian Craig Show, and I will pop up. All right, so President Trump he laid down the law today. He was speaking to the Bible group, talking about the Bible. He talked about this poor Ukrainian girl who was married or murdered, and before she could have a chance to get married and have a family and everything. You know, this young girl from Ukraine, murdered for absolutely no reason. Not that people are murdered for reasons, but she's murdered for no reason, and just a random, what I believe is a hate crime attack. And at her young age, she's lost everything, right? She had to abandon her country, Ukraine, to come to the United States. No husband, no children yet. She's too young. She did not even begin her life, and it was taken from her. And the media today have finally covered the story, and it really shows you the power of the internet news and conservatives and everything, because the only reason that the mainstream media, CNN and the rest, are covering the story is because conservatives like me over the weekend, after that tape came out, we were covering it over the weekend. And then the president mentioned it today. You know, listen, that was a racial hate crime. There's no mistaking it. And these people in the media, shame doesn't even begin to describe the feelings they should be seeing. I mean, I'm so disgusted with the media. You know, the Ukrainian war is a controversial thing in this country. It started because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is responsible for the war in Ukraine. He told Putin he could come in a certain distance into Ukraine and that'd be okay. So guess what Putin did? He did what Biden said he could do. And this girl, she is a refugee from Ukraine. All these people in the liberal media, the liberals, they think that Zelensky's a rock star, right? They've even written songs about him. He comes around, they all stand up, they applaud, they grin, they love this guy. They haven't loved a dictator because he is a dictator, Zelensky. Remember, his term of office is over. He is in office beyond his presidential term. He is a dictator, while they're calling Trump a dictator all the time. Well, you know, Saul Alinsky, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing, accuse your opponent of being what you are, and that's why they call Trump a dictator, because Zelensky is. But these liberals in the media, these Democrats, they go around with, and these Democrats in Congress, they go around with the Ukrainian flag on their lapel pins. They got Ukrainian bumper stickers. You see them all, don't you guys see those sometimes? And here you have a Ukrainian refugee murdered by a Democrat, and they cover it up. They don't want you to know about it because it doesn't fit their narrative. And, President Trump is fed up. What President Trump is doing is a great many things for the country. But if you were just to sum up what he's doing, I haven't heard anybody say this. I haven't heard the president say this. This is what I'm calling it. What President Trump is doing is a great American reset. Do you know what I mean by that? A great American reset. This country has been run by a bunch of weirdos, anti-American, hate mongers, racist, heterophobes. I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? Heterophobes, the American hating crowd, the blame America crowd, the hate America first crowd. These are the people that have been running the country. Now, we've had these lunatics around on the left for a long time, but what Obama did, it all started with Obama. Obama gave them a platform, a voice, and a position. And when things really went to where they are today is when the squad got elected the first time. And these lunatics have been running the country. And what President Trump is doing, I'm calling it the Great American Reset. He's resetting us back to normality. I don't know, is that a word? Normalcy? Because what's been going on is a freak show. I mean, look, you had the Olympics. I'm a big fan of the Olympics. As much as I'm not a huge sports fan, I do enjoy the Olympics, the winter and the summer. And they had a man beating women up in the boxing matches in the Olympics. And then they gave him medals for beating up women. And they try to tell you something's wrong with you because you think that's strange? I mean, that's just the beginning of it. And that's not even that's one of the more extreme examples, but it's true. And you see what's going on with crime. So, this monster that murdered this Ukrainian refugee was arrested and released 14 times. By the way, that's 14 times more than I've been arrested. And it's probably 14 times more than most of you have been arrested. Hopefully all of you, but hey, you never know. So why is it, and he's not alone. We see these stories all the time. Look at Lincoln Riley. She's murdered by an illegal alien, one of the Obama, Biden, Kamala Harris dreamers. He murdered her. He didn't rape her. He was trying to. And she fought with her life to avoid being raped. And then what happens? We get the Lincoln Riley Act, and these Democrats, well, I'm not going to vote for that. What? You mean illegals have a right to come here and rape and murder our women? You won't vote for a bill against that? These people are out of their minds. The country has been run by loons. So how does a guy get arrested 14 times and he's walking around on the streets? I'll tell you why and how. It's all that, it started with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, which is where Black Lives Matter sprung up, and all this defund the police. And even before Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, George Soros started funding local elections and backing local prosecutors, state's attorneys, people like that, probably even county sheriffs. And we have radical, revolutionary, lawless people that are holding senior law enforcement positions, whether it's a judge, cops, city councils, and mayors, and others around the country. Okay, so why does a judge, a guy comes in front of them 14 times? By the way, I'm a little unclear. Maybe you can help me with this. He was arrested for murdering this poor young girl, stole her whole life from her before her life even began. And did she work in a pizza joint? Was she on her way home from work or going to work? They like to show that picture like from her Instagram where she looks like a Ukrainian model, but she was a hard-working girl, much more than that lunatic was doing. But I'm a little confused. Is this his 14th or 15th arrest? The judge in those cases should be arrested and charged for accessories to murder. And I'm not kidding. So why does a judge like that, why do these judges let a monster like that go 14 times? No, I'm serious. Is this arrest his 14th or 15th? I think it's the 15th. A little vague in the media about that. I think it's the 15th, but I wasn't sure. They should, they have all those mug shots. This is the 15th. Okay, the live chat said, by the way, this is the Brian Craig Show podcast. If you want to catch the show live, if you're on hold, stand by. If you want to catch the show live and call in and catch it when it's going on live, follow me and listen to the podcast on YouTube or YouTube Music at Brian Craig Show. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you get podcast. Just search for The Brian Craig Show, and I'll pop right up wherever you get your podcast. But YouTube, I live stream the podcast. You catch me live on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. So this is the 15th time. Holy smokes. So why does a guy get arrested so many times and get set free? And that's a question for you to call in. I have my thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts. What is going on with these judges? And people say it's not just a race thing. If you go back to Parkland, that monster, they killed those ninth grade, they're babies, all right? They're 14. Those are babies to me. Babies. Ninth graders. That Nicholas Cruz monster. Right? This is a red state, Florida. But Broward County, where Parkland is a Democrat county. And Parkland's a Democrat county, a Democrat town and a Democrat county. And the sheriff who was in charge of security for that school was a Democrat. And if you remember, the police had been to his house about a dozen times, Nicholas Cruz. And if any of them would have stood up and done the right thing, those babies at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas would be alive today, be in college and graduating college and stuff by now. So it's not just a race thing, it's a Democrat thing. It's a Democrat thing. Democrats have a fetish for criminals. I know a lot of times, now this crime with the Ukrainian girl, I do believe that was a racial hate crime on his part. I think he killed her because she was white. There was no other reason. He had no interactions with her. He just did it. So the president spoke about it today. Let me pull it up. That's right. It's bad enough when we're being invaded from our southern border. Now it's an attack from within. Right? I mean, and this is going on everywhere. And what's the attitude of the left? How dare you? How dare you come into our cities and rid them of crime? Criminals have rights. Now, I want to remind you of something. The way I said that. Criminals have rights. Do you know what that's a reference to? It's not an exact line. It's not what am I referencing? Dirty Harry, the original Dirty Harry. Andrew Robinson was the bad guy in Dirty Harry. Remember that? That's a great Republican movie. He hired a guy to beat him up and said, Inspector Callahan did this. He used all the liberal civil liberty. And Dirty Harry's getting him at the end. He's like, I have rights. Well, Dirty Harry had a different idea. Donald Trump is Dirty Harry. That's right. Donald Trump is Dirty Harry, and Dirty Harry is an American hero. And that's what we need right now. Because this country has been taken over by lunatic radical revolutionaries who are victimized. We talked about we shut down the southern border, and now President Trump's dealing with our homegrown criminals. I don't know how this guy got back on CNN, Brian Stelter. They brought him back. And he was on there. They got some new makeup on him. This makeup, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this video from the audio. It looks like they used the makeup on Brian. They got, he's bald. The makeup on his face and head. It looks like the makeup that the embalmers use on the corpses in the caskets, doesn't it? That does not look, it's not like regular TV makeup he's got on here. And I thought they fired him because he was so detestable that viewers, even the CNN, couldn't stand listening to him. But here's Brian Stelter today. Listen to this jerk. Well, that's how it happens, dummy. A local story happens. Hey, when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, it was a local story. I saw it in the local news here in Florida. It wasn't a national story right away. In fact, it didn't become a national story for quite some time later. Weeks and months it became a national story when Sharpton came to Sanford. And then started this race war that's going on in this country in so many places. That's how it happens local. Local news covers it, and eventually, sometimes, these stories make it big. I don't know what this guy with the embalmer's makeup, Brian Stelter, is talking about. MAGA media. I am proud MAGA media. I like that thing. Well, that's another slander that we'll take and embrace. Yes, I am proud MAGA media. Is that okay with you guys? And listen to his attitude. Last week they were saying, prayers don't work, don't pray, all this stuff after that tragedy. And now this, it's just because MAGA media. Maybe it's because a young woman was murdered for no reason whatsoever before she even began her life, jerk. Well, gee whiz. You got a guy who, I have never seen, I know with liberals, they see racial implications in everything. We rarely do. Is there any doubt in your mind, and if you're on hold, stand by, I'll get to some calls in a little bit. And you can be on the air with me on MAGA Media, Brian Stelter. They say everything's a racial incident. We rarely do that. What was the other motive here with this monster? That's the only thing I can see here. Jerk. Well, what about the knife in the neck of the girl? A bald man talking about baldly racist. Is that baldly racist, Brian Stelter? Girl working at a pizza parlor sits down on the train. She's white. Black guy behind her for no reason takes out a knife and was that racist? Are you worried about some comment on X, you idiot? He's more worried about some comment that somebody left responding to Elon Musk on X than he is the knife in the neck of a young 27-year-old child who was murdered. He's a monster, Brian Stelter, isn't he? He is a monster. A heartless, sadistic, sociopathic monster. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like your head, bald. so-called career criminal, arrested 14 times, a 15th time with a murder. A so-called criminal? They have him on video with the knife doing it. There's no alleged here. Okay? There's no alleged. You can see it. It's in the video. Yeah. How about the cesspool of CNN? Oh man, I tell you though, I sleep well at night on my pillow. You know, I talked to Mike Lindell once, and I told him, I say, Mike Lindell, I said I live in a MAGA household. I'm sorry, a My Pillow household. I do live in a MAGA household, but I live in a My Pillow household. I said my home is a My Pillow home, and you know what Mike Lindell said to me? He said, okay. He said, okay. He says, what does that mean? And I told him, I said, I have every one of the pillows, every style of pillows, the My Pillow 2.0, the My Pillow original that started it all, right? The luxury premium My Pillow. I have a My Pillow mattress. I have a My Pillow mattress topper. I have the My Pillow sheets. I have the My Pillow slippers. I have the My Pillow towels. I have the My Pillow pipettes. He's like, wow. He says, you have more My Pillow products than I have in my house, maybe. I said, yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. That's right. And, the free shipping offer is still available when you go to mypillow.com and use my promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. Plus, there's huge savings site-wide. And remember, every time you use my promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, you're supporting all my content, my podcast, my YouTube channel, the radio show, and everything. Plus, you're getting great products from the great Mike Lindell. Go to mypillow.com, use my promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. The free shipping offer is in effect, and you can save up to 80% off on some of the top My Pillow products in the closeout section. So go there right now, mypillow.com, promo code KANE, KANE. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break and be right back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I'll go to the phones in a few moments. But I'm going to tell you, we're talking about serious stuff where Democrats are getting people killed. And I don't have a lot of patience for stupid people today. All right? Just a warning. Zohan Mom Communist, whatever his name is, doing a bunch of interviews. Listen to this. You know, we got this massive crime wave. We've got innocent Ukrainian refugee girls being murdered for no reason. Here's Mom Donnie. Yeah, sure, you can set all the criminals out on the streets and let them ride trains in North Carolina and kill innocent girls. Yeah, you can do that, Zohan Mom Stupid. Okay, now, what an idiot with what's going on here. He's talking this way like today. I'm going to tell you, I have changed my opinion about Zohan in New York. Let him win. Screw him. If New York wants this crap, if they want a guy that's going to empty out Rikers Island, screw him. Let him. Vote for this jerk. All you snowflakes and soy boys that I saw at the Fight the Oligarchy event with Zohan and Bernie Sanders, empty out Rikers. Yeah, great idea. Vote for that, you stupid idiots. You get what you deserve. I'm not going to concern myself with this anymore. Let them vote for. Let them elect Zoe. My original thought was, oh, we can't afford to do this. I can't help New York. Screw it. You guys with me on that? What are we going to do? We're going to sit around here and try to convince these idiots. What if this guy telling you that he's going to empty out Rikers and put that population out of Rikers into the city, what are you going to do to get through to these idiots? If that doesn't turn them off from voting for this idiot, nothing will. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, stay in the race, Adams. Stay in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Jason. I'm calling from Seattle.
Yeah. Yes? Do you want me to...
Yes, Brian?
You called me.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Charlottesville incident, the stabbing.
The murder?
Yes, the murder. Absolutely. So I won't try to disagree with you as much as last time we talked. But this topic does interest me, and I wanted to. You compared it to the Nicholas Cruz incident in Parkland.
Yes.
And I wanted to be generous and give you my distinction. I do disagree with you a bit, and I need you to understand that this is not a liberal school of thought by these judges that do the bail reform and they do the living document style of legal theory. This is Marxism. This is not liberalism. This is Marxism. And
the Democrat Party. No, it is the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has morphed into this radical, revolutionary taking down of America party. That's what the party is now. It's changed.
Yes, and these judges that do the bail reform and they let these criminals out time and time again.
They're Democrats.
They are Democrats, but the school of thought, the universities that they come from, the school of thought that they subscribe to, is called living document legal theory.
No, you know what it's called? It's called stupid asses. It's called dummies and stupid a-holes. Okay, and I'll tell you about Nicholas Cruz. Nicholas Cruz was a psychopath who was expelled from school. And you had a Democrat school administration, a Democrat school board, a Democrat superintendent from Chicago, a Democrat sheriff, an entire Democrat community that, the city of Parkland, I'm just illustrating how Democrats operate, okay? I'm not reliving the whole Parkland incident, but it's the same in Chicago, D.C., North Carolina, okay? I lived not far from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, okay? I mean, I went to Starbucks this afternoon and got coffee, and one of the coaches from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School was standing next to me in line at Starbucks, okay? So, I know the area. Nicholas Cruz, okay, when that shooting happened, I remember they were interviewing one of the residents on CNN that night and said, we have the distinction of being the safest city in Florida because they were cooking the crime stats, right? Like in D.C. where they, they were monkeying around with the crime. Oh, the crime is low because they don't make arrests. Nicholas Cruz had sheriff's deputies at his house a dozen times for violent crimes. They never arrested him, and they didn't take the guns away because they didn't want him in the crime stats. Democrats are getting people killed all over this country. That girl on the train is dead because of Democrats. Lincoln Riley was murdered because of Democrats, and it's happening every day. The problem is the Democrats. This isn't some intellectual theory. I'm sorry. You've got a party of people that are getting Americans murdered every day.
When I wanted to talk about Nicholas Cruz, I wanted to say that because he was under investigation by the FBI, the visits by the sheriff's department didn't really matter because
that's
FBI
bullshit. Okay, that's complete bullshit. Listen, that city. I'm sorry to use the language. I'm sorry for the language, guys, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here. You see, you're part of the problem. You're part of this liberal intelligentsia. No. He was not under investigation by the FBI. Someone left a message about him on an FBI voicemail. You had a city that was very upscale where all the Democrat elites in the town live, and they didn't want any crime on their books because it would hurt the property values. Safest schools, safest city helps property values. Total BS. Okay, Democrat, do you disagree that that woman is dead, that young girl, that Ukrainian refugee? Do you agree or disagree that she is dead because of Democrats?
Of course I agree.
So what are you doing advocating for Democrat stuff then? Why are you affiliated with a political party that you admit got a young girl murdered?
Brian, I don't know if you remember me. We had a conversation last week. I told you in plain English I was a conservative.
Oh, okay. No, I don't remember. I don't remember everyone's voice. Well, that's good.
Oh, sure.
I appreciate that.
So we had a conversation last week about Trump's incident.
I'm sorry. I heard Seattle, and I just assumed liberal.
Sure. So what I wanted to tell you is that I don't appreciate when people mix up liberal and Marxist specifically because you said this isn't about some intellectual distinction. But the point is that the judges that are responsible for the legal, that are taught this specific living document style of constitutional legal theory, as opposed to the conservative one, which is original intent. That's how conservatives are taught.
Here's the deal. When you look at the judges, they're always radical liberal. Have we seen any hot,
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
Liberal is not quite it because when you say radical, right,
I'm going to move on. I am not good. I appreciate the call. Call me. I'm not in a good mood today because of this stuff, but I appreciate your call. I mean, no, I can't sit here and get all cerebral about this. Okay, you've got Democrat judges that don't want to put black men in prison. They think there are too many black men in prison, and they don't want to put another one in prison, even if he's out there doing crime. Don't you get it? That's it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jack from Sarasota again. I know you're very up to date with current events and everything, especially with the Republican Party. Did you hear about Mike Johnson walking back his statement?
He didn't walk back anything. I know they're saying that. I know they're saying that, but he didn't walk back anything. I'll pull it up. I saw it on Mediaite a few minutes ago. I'll pull it up. You know, you guys with all your what's the matter with you? Here you've got a young Ukrainian refugee murdered because of the Democrats, and you're calling me with some talking point. I'll pull it up.
Would you like me to answer that question?
Yeah.
I have a problem when people like you support a president who's probably had sexual relations.
Get off the phone. We're not enough. You're done. You're done. I'll pull up the Mediaite article in a minute. I did post it to X. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, sorry. Let me turn this down here. Hold on.
Yeah.
I just turned it up and then you put me on. Okay. How you doing, Brian?
Now before you get started, I want to share this. On Friday, you just stand by. I'm not going to put you on hold. I'll leave you on the air while I go with this. On Friday, I broke a story. Mike Johnson dropped on CNN that Trump was an undercover FBI informant working with the FBI to bring down Jeffrey Epstein. He said it on CNN Friday. I played it all weekend. I played it on the stream this morning. And they got this talking point because these Goebbels propagandists, he's walking it back. Bullcrap. Okay, this is the story. Okay, and it says here, 2 days later, this is the liberals writing. That's the speaker, walked back his comments in a statement obtained by the Washington Post. Johnson's office said, quote, the speaker is reiterating what the victim's attorney said, which is that Donald Trump, who kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, was the only one more than a decade ago willing to help prosecutors expose Epstein for being a disgusting child predator. Where in that is Mike Johnson walking back that Trump was an FBI informant? I'm sick of you. I am so sick of Democrats. A lot of people tell me I shouldn't even take their calls. I'm not going to do that yet. But come on, where's Mike Johnson walking back anything? That's not even him saying that. That's some statement that they said came from his office. And nowhere in that statement from his office did he walk back anything. All right, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. You there?
Yeah.
Brian? Okay. All right. I'm Spencer. I'm calling from Mount Vernon, Texas. First time caller.
Welcome.
Let's see. Since you brought that up, why? This is a question I have. I'm pro-Trump. Why isn't the right-wing news reporting any of this? Could it be because
reported
it's
what?
Still classified?
Reported what?
That Trump
was
could
FBI
possibly
informant?
be an informant.
Because they hate Trump.
Yeah.
They hate Trump. That's why Fox News hates Trump. Fox News hates Trump.
Wow. Okay. And the reason why I'm calling is because I was wanting to get your opinion on this. I keep hearing the left say, why doesn't Trump go to the red states instead of all these other cities?
No, they say red cities.
Now,
they say red cities.
Oh, red cities.
They say red cities.
Saying red.
They say red cities.
I'm hearing red.
Yeah, you may hear that, but what they're saying is, why is he only going to the blue cities? Why isn't he going to the crime-infested red cities?
Right.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
I think that he's hitting the sanctuary cities first.
No. Tell me the red city that is overrun with crime, where they have judges letting rapists and murderers go free without bail, and Black Lives Matter runs the police. What red city are they talking about? Yeah, that's right, because it doesn't exist. It's total. The reason the reason you're hearing states now is because it's dawned on them. Oh, there are no red cities where that's happening. So they're saying, well, red states,
right.
Red states. What about Louisiana? You know, it's Republican. Yeah, but New Orleans isn't where the crime is. All right. So yeah, there are no red cities where that's happening because we don't put up with that.
Exactly. But these migrants, they're going to the small towns like Corinth, Mississippi.
Well, this guy on the train was an American. Who do you think he voted? Do you think the guy on the train, do you think he voted for Trump? Do you think he voted for Kamala, Biden? Who do you think he voted for, that guy? Think he voted for
he
Mrs.
definitely
Clinton?
went left.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I see the people in the chat saying New Orleans and all this kind of stuff.
New Orleans is a
That's
Democrat city.
That's right. That's right. But here in Texas, we do have sanctuary cities, which I'm very shocked.
You have Democrat cities in Texas. In Florida, we're a red MAGA state. The president lives here. But we have some Democrat cities that are high in crime, like Jacksonville, Florida, where I was almost murdered a little more than a year ago. I made a YouTube video about it.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call, Brian.
All right. Well, thank you for calling. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You're out of luck. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, I'm happy to be on MAGA Media with you, Brian.
Yes, that's right. Proud MAGA Media here. That's right.
That's right.
Now, hold on. Let me answer. All my lines are ringing off the hooks. All right, yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty upset about what's been happening, too. This could be done prevented in Charlotte, North Carolina. It could have been prevented in so many ways. I mean, first of all, one arrest should have been enough. The mayor is Democrat.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, forget about your gun control. I guess they need some knife control, right? Because he used a pocket knife. My goodness.
Yeah, when I saw that story when it first broke out, I'm like, holy God, they go right in the freeze right when it happened. And you could just that's worse than anything, seeing it that way.
Yeah.
The way they portrayed that, it's just unbelievably disgusting. I mean, this could have just been prevented in so many ways. Now, of course, the Democrats, the state went for Trump. So no, you got a very blue city with a very blue mayor and a very blue governor. Mm-hmm. That's on them.
That's right.
And I'm so sick and tired of these goddamn liberals of what they're doing.
Please don't take the Lord's name in vain. I know there's a lot of reasons to be upset and everything, and I've used some profanity and foul language, and I've been holding back because I've been so angry. But please don't take the Lord's name in vain, if you don't mind.
Oh no, I mean that one. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's angering, and it's just absolutely disgusting what they've been doing and how they've been portraying this. And it's funny. Michael Brown, the thing that basically kicked off Black Lives Matter. Well, I found out in a story that
Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman kicked off BLM.
Well, Michael Brown is in one of them stories. I just found out today that the kid, the one that was with him that last saw him alive, he just got shot and killed in the area.
His best friend, yeah.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. There's a problem over there, and that that's another thing that the Democrats don't want to address. The media doesn't want to address.
That's true.
That's
true. Listen, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Yeah, here's another clip. Zohan being interviewed, running for mayor of New York. Oh, my goodness. So he's going to empty out Rikers. This is great. Yeah, go ahead, New York. Vote for this jerk. He's going to empty out Rikers Island, send all the prisoners into your neighborhoods, and then he's going to wipe out the gang database that the NYPD have been putting together for decades. Going to wipe it out, erase it all. Oh, yeah, that's great. Vote for him. You get what you deserve. We got to stop trying to convince these New Yorkers not to vote for him. You listen to this guy talk. Now he's out there doing interviews. And we're hearing what he really thinks. If Zohan himself cannot convince these New Yorkers not to vote for this idiot, nothing you or I say will. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Afternoon, Brian. It's Job for Night out of California.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so in regards to what you were talking about previously, I think that these individuals who are in these cities where all of this stuff is going on, specifically sanctuary cities, I think their mayors and their local council people need to be investigated, because there's really no reason why they should be allowing this to continue. It is such a drain on the city.
Yeah.
They have to be getting some money somehow, some way.
Yeah.
In regards to all of these individuals who are letting these criminals with such high recidivism rates end up back on the streets, they need to be disbarred. They need to be sued. The family members need to go after them as well and sue them into non-existence. And in regards to New York, they're going to have to end up paying for their own decisions.
Yep.
And that's the way it's going to be.
I'm done.
And
I am done talking to New York. I got a lot of listeners in New York. I'm based in Florida, so I have a huge number of listeners. I have listeners all over America and the world, but I have a lot of people who listen and watch me in New York City, particular, in Manhattan. I'm tired of trying to convince them. He's going to empty out Rikers Island and then do away with the gang database. Why not just do away with the NYPD while you're at it, Zohan?
This is the funniest thing, because I actually have a former New York resident living with me right now, and I speak to family members who actually are in Manhattan, so the electing of that individual would directly affect them, and they're actually interested in voting for him. What my thing is, the first thing I end up saying to them, because they were around at this time, was, what about Rudy Giuliani? Everybody loves Rudy Giuliani. They all love Rudy Giuliani. And then I asked them one thing: did you by chance know that he was a Republican? And they're like, they know it. And that was one of the best times where New York actually ended up making a complete turnaround.
It's true.
I mean, like I said, like you've been saying, you get what you vote for. And if they can't see it, then they can't see it. You have a great day. You're doing a great job. And at least the people who believe in what you're saying really do appreciate the fact that you're coming on so often and taking time out of your day and away from your family.
Well, I appreciate it.
Talk about these issues.
Well, thank you for your call. All right. Wisdom from California. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. If you'd like to call in, if you're watching live on YouTube, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to catch the show live so you can call in, check me out on my YouTube channel, because I do the podcast live on YouTube. Before I get back to the news, if you'd like to support my content, which includes my podcast, radio show, YouTube channel, everything I do, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of this and every episode. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes and a lot of exclusive things that my wife and I post there and nowhere else. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen and you get a live on-air thank you shout out on each program. So the names you will hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and Janice. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Now, again, if you'd like to support everything I do, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description on whatever platform you're listening on, or go directly to the URL, which is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. Patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. All right, thanks so much, guys. Now, before I go back to the phones, let's hear from Rosie. Rosie did an interview. Listen to this lunatic. I guess she went on Australian 60 Minutes. When has Rosie ever been doing well? You know, when she had her afternoon talk show, she was pretending to be straight. Remember, she was lying to her audience? That was like when she peaked in her career, her afternoon talk show. She was pretending to have the hots for Tom Cruise all the time. Remember that? No. Who was not free under Donald Trump, Rosie O'Donnell? Who was not free? I'd like to know who was free last year that's not free this year. The criminals, the rapists, the illegal aliens? Other than the criminals, who was free last year that's not free this year, Rosie? And why is Donald Trump responsible for your mental health, you nutbag? When are you talking about equality? This woman hasn't had a job in how many years? 5 years? 10 years? She's traveling the world, living in Europe. Sounds like there's some inequality between her and me, right? I can't afford to just say, well, I'm going to go retire in Europe. Oh, really? Tell me one thing that a black or brown person cannot do that I can do in this country because I'm white. What is something I can do that a black or brown person in America cannot do today in 2025, Rosie? Shame on her going on foreign television shows and stuff, trashing our great country. Yeah, well, it's better without you in it, Rosie. Oh, he's not. That's called a joke, you narcissist. Good. When it's safe, what is she talking about? Is she waiting for Trump to clean up the city crime? What does she mean when it's safe? What a sociopathic narcissist. People in the United States are advising her. Sounds like she has some grifters that are ripping her off. Who are these advisors advising her on when it's safe to come back to America? Are you freaking kidding me? Who are these experts that are advising Rosie? I'd like to know. That sounds like a con job. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Max. I'm from Utah.
Okay.
What's up, man? I was going to ask you something. So you're from Florida, right? Sunshine State, right?
Oh, yeah, it's raining right now, but yeah, Sunshine State.
What do you think about the how they're not like canceling the vaccine mandates in like Florida, like, especially for schools? What do you think about that?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's America, and in America, we shouldn't have the government telling us what medications we should have to put inside of our body. It's a free country, right?
Yeah. Obviously, like stuff like vaccines.
Hold on. So you agree with me? You agree with me? Well, let me ask you this: they prevent things.
What's up?
What should the government are you're a guy, right?
Yes, I'm a man.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. You're male, right?
Okay. Yes, I am a male.
You're a male. I don't know if you're a man or not. I mean, how can you be a man and be a liberal? I don't know about that. Do you believe that the government should require you as a man to wear condoms when you have sex? It should be the law that you have to wear condoms when you have sex. The law.
I think that's different from like, you know, like.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Condoms are preventative. They can prevent pregnancy. They can prevent the spread of sexually transmitted diseases and like AIDS and all kinds of other things. Now, I don't know, a guy like you, there may not be anybody out there that wants to have sex with you. But should the...
Okay.
Really? People lining up to have sex with you? Okay. But it's you said vaccines are preventative. Condoms are preventative.
Yeah.
So why not have the law require men to wear condoms before they have sex? It's for your safety.
If you don't get vaccinated, you're gonna... Okay.
Yeah, but if you don't have a condom, you can get AIDS. You could get AIDS from somebody without a condom. That's
true.
Deadly. So why not? And you could also transmit from you to a woman. You're into girls or guys?
Girls.
You had to think about that? I never had to think about that.
Yeah.
I never had to think about that. Why do you have to think about that? You sure?
I don't know. It's just kind of out of nowhere. Are you into girls or into guys? You know, just kind of like pounced on me about that. You know.
What do you mean pounce? I mean, that's a natural thing. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm into chicks. I'm into girls. You didn't say that though. You had to think about it.
Okay.
You said that vaccines are preventative. Okay, I'll give you that. But so are condoms.
I'm saying that they're just I'm saying that vaccines are a lot more important than a condom. You know.
What about this? Do you drive a car?
Yes, I do.
Should the government require you to wear a helmet while you're driving your car to help prevent head injuries?
No.
Why not? A helmet is preventative. Do you know in Florida you don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle? It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's been that way since '98. Why should the government not pass a law requiring you to wear a crash helmet when you're in a car driving? That would prevent head injuries, wouldn't it?
It's not like taking vaccines is not like legally enforced. Like, you only need to take a vaccine to go to school or join the military. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, because like especially in like elementary schools, like so like
when you join the military, that's different. Okay, we don't have a draft. So when you join the military, you're an adult, and you voluntarily give up some of your civil rights when you join the service. That's different.
Yeah, understandable. I'm just saying, like at school, like little kids, you know, like, kids are fucking gross. You can agree on that, right? Kids are disgusting.
No, you're disgusting to say something like that. You're disgusting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Adam from New York.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Brian. Hey, I heard about your first segment there about the young lady that was murdered on the
the racial hate crime, the Ukrainian refugee. Yeah. Hard-working girl, worked in a pizza parlor.
I saw the news report on the local Charlotte. It was on my YouTube before your segment I saw, and it seemed like the news coverage was more caring about the murderers' family members what they thought, like they were talking about the mother, the poor mother of the murderer that murdered the poor young girl.
Wait a minute. They were talking about not the mother of the victim, but the mother of the guy that did the killing?
Yeah, that's correct. They were saying what she thought caused it was
her bad parenting. Oh my goodness, who was talking about that? I'd like to check that out.
It was on the local Charlotte. Well, I can find out for you.
Yeah,
I should
let me know. That's crazy. You don't need to find out. That's nuts. Don't go to the trouble. Don't go to the trouble.
I'll text it down on your thing, your live feed.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
All right, we'll do that and let me know. I appreciate it. That's not surprising. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Tino, and I'm calling from Texas. How are you today? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate what you do, man.
Well, thank you. I'll take that compliment. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh yeah, I'm Austin. I'm calling from your mom's house.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Good. Tell her I said hi. Oh man, I tell you, I told you I'm impatient today. With what's going on in this country is incredibly serious, and we're so blessed. If you're on hold, I don't know if I'm going to take any more calls or not. I'll decide in a minute, so you can hang in there or not. We're so blessed to have President Trump as our president. President Trump is taking on things that everyone's been talking about for years, as long as I can remember, and did nothing about it. Right? The border crisis. Took care of it. Boom. Border's shut down. It's done. The drug trafficking, he blew the boat out of the water. Right? He's taking on the drug cartels. Now he's going into our blue cities and he's taking on the criminals, the American criminals. What kind of due process did that Ukrainian refugee girl who worked hard, she's no longer with us sadly, hard-working girl, had to leave her country, came to America, working hard in a pizza parlor, and some Democrat ends her life for no reason whatsoever, other than it probably was a racial hate crime. If we had a Democrat president, they would talk about all kinds of stuff that wasn't relevant, racial reconciliation and all this stuff. That's not the problem here. The problem is you have Democrats that are judges, prosecutors, and in government that are excusing criminals that are committing the worst crimes that a human can commit against another one. Murder, sexual assault, pistol whipping, all kinds of things. And their attitude to President Trump is, how dare you do something about this? How dare you stop these criminals from doing crime? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice, you're out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, I've been listening around as much as I can, but I've not found anybody who brings up or has brought up the question, how do liberals square with, you have the individual, we know what the individual was who stabbed the young woman, but you have the young woman who's
how do they
a young female.
They're psychotic. They're crazy. They're crazy.
Uh-huh.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
They're nuts. They're not sane. The Democrats are not sane. They're crazy people.
Well, what I like to see is a picture. They've got a picture of her and the mugshots, 17 of them, of that individual. But I'd like to see also the judges in each case that let him out right next to that particular
as far as I'm concerned, the judges are accessories to her murder. Hey, I appreciate the call. Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you're out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is James. I am from Texas. I just want to know if you...
No, I don't. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is John. So I got to ask, what does it feel like to...
Yes, okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice, you're out. All right, let me try one more. Hold on, I'll put some of these people on hold. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed a Trump 2028 hat.
That's right. I'm wearing a Trump 2028 hat. That is correct. You can read. That's awesome.
Well, do you believe in the Constitution?
Do I? Yeah, it is a document that does exist. I do believe in it.
So you want Trump to be president in 2028? Is that what you're saying?
You're familiar with how the Constitution works, right?
No, I'm a Canadian, so...
Oh, so you don't know. Okay. Well, you have an excuse.
No, I know enough.
Well, no. The Constitution has something in it called amendments. You can amend the Constitution. It's been done 27 times. The Congress can change the Constitution to allow President Trump or anyone else to run again.
The only one that's multiple is Roosevelt.
Correct.
And that's because of the War Act.
No, it wasn't because of the War Act. There was no War Act. No, we didn't have term limits until the 1950s. There were no term limits for president.
Bullshit.
It's true.
Bullshit. No, it's not.
You're a Canadian. What do you know about the Constitution of the United States? I don't even know what you guys have. We did not have term limits until the early 1950s.
Oh, my God.
It's true.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not.
You want to vote for a pedophile? Go
okay,
ahead.
there you go. All right, go back to Canada. I thought Canadians were nice people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling in from Ohio. I'm Julian.
Okay. Hard to understand you.
Oh, sorry. Let me fix that real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, while you're fixing it, I'm going to move on. Take a couple more calls before we sign off. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
So how does it feel to vote for a guy?
What's your name? Where are you calling from? Feels great to vote for Trump. Thank you for asking. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. You're out. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian Craig is a trans woman.
Yes, that's right. Yes. All right, well, the rest of you on hold, you all hang in there. I'll be back tomorrow with an all-new show first thing in the morning. So if you hold on, you'll be first in line on the show tomorrow morning at 6. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Remember, the Brian Craig Show is available wherever you get your podcast. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe and follow me on whatever platform you're listening on, all right? And if you could do me the favor of taking the link to the program and sharing it on all your socials, that would be great. I got a full board of calls, not one opening on I have one opening on the board. You guys hang in there. I'll be back in 12 hours or so taking calls again. All right, take care.